Welcome everyone to another amazing live stream. The Xarcode open source foundation fixes kernel and Xorg bugs live here on YouTube because apparently nobody else does it, right? We knew Xorg is broken for many drivers since a year or two. Yesterday we wanted to debug this live on Twitch, so that failed a bit. I spared no efforts. Last night was actually on 32-bit somehow, because I couldn't step through that, so hopefully now a little bit more efficient live stream of, hey, the debugger works, so what, maybe there is some GDB 32 regression support marginality. Anyway, I spared no efforts here, the one of a kind. The one Linux distribution of all the 2000s, who cares that stuff actually works. Probably the Steve Jobs would have approved this Linux distribution for everything that we fix just works. Case in point, many graphic cards don't work in Xorg anymore because everyone only cares about not running Xorg, and AMD GPU, Novo and Intel and some embedded things. And yeah, the only constant is change in regressions, right? I said this before, so I stop in a minute, but basically what happens is the Xorg people for decades changed their APIs. Like instead of keeping stuff that was working for decades, they clean up stuff of renaming a function from master to primary or other such. This argument was usually not used. Let's remove it. And yeah, of course, breaking all the other cards, right? And nobody's going to fix them anymore, right? It is so annoying because, I mean, not only I grew up with, we wanted to make with open source the world a better place, and now we just have bugs like Microsoft, or worse, because Windows drivers actually still work a decade later. So it's basically worse than Windows because no shit is broken. Also, this Matrox card, it's a G450. Yes, it's old, but until a decade ago, or maybe even still today, they have probably server boards or digital signage or whatnot. So it's not like this particular Matrox card is the most unusable. Spoiler alert, it isn't. And also Mach64 is broken, yes, even older, but it is in my Sun UltraSpark, right? So I keep all this stuff working, like all the other stuff, and then I don't even have a freaking Xterm on my Sun UltraSpark 5 or 10, right? Also similar, this Matrox MGA is in my RISC System 6000. So it's not like you keep all this vintage nice systems where you can play Doom and Quake and stuff, yes, even on RISC. And the Xorg Foundation, basically, yeah, YOLO, whatever. We want really to convert you to Wayland, and this is why as a last present to the open source world, we really make sure that all the old stuff ain't working anymore. Anyway, so today let's quickly fix this, and if we can't fix this in 15 minutes, then let's move over to Twitch, right? If you're new to this stuff, we also have an even more freaking live Twitch channel because need to document all these fixes. It crashes here. Also, yeah, today I plugged this with a PCIe bridge into my 5950X freaking Ryzen. It's not like you can't run this. I mean, of course, you can still run this in your epic thread-ripping Ryzen workstation. I did this because I actually was prepared to bisect that, so maybe we automate bisecting soon because we also have Mach64 to fix. To my surprise, I didn't even expect this to work. I thought it's signal handler because Xorg server registers segmentation fault, signal handling to print a nice backtrace and potentially clean up the virtual terminal and driver a little bit. But apparently that was a 32-bit support. Like here, so adding to my 666 line to do. Let's take a look what freaking breaks on 32-bit GDB. Anyway, on 64-bit it surprisingly works. And it's crashing here, right? If string compare like so, it's like here. The only constant is change into regressions. Breaking freaking driver by... I verified this, right? The version before that works. So the only change we did this yesterday live on Twitch, it's unfortunately hundreds, thousands of changes. How much is Xorg unmaintained? You heard Xorg is unmaintained between 112 whatever and 21 something. They touched some 10,000 of files in 100,000 of changes, right? And you thought Xorg is unmaintained? No, it's maintained, just maintained to be broken and used in Xwayland and stuff. But I mean, and we are not the first one, right? A year, because I even don't test the systems daily because epic thread wrapping, but other people, even on Gentoo and Arch and stuff, running on their precious ThinkPads and whatnot from a decade ago, other people reported years ago to the Xorg people and stuff that is broken and segmentation faulting. And the Xorg people, yeah, make sure PCI bars are mapped and stuff. It's like, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Google stuff, Google Xorg, Google MGA, Google Mach64. I'm not making this up. All the other well-financed Linux distributions simply don't care. So God bless that this is not used in some high-end server systems. Spoiler alert, it is. Anyway, so as a quick fix, so the question is, so this is some mode validation stuff here in MGA pre-init calling backtracer to XF86 validate modes. Somehow this amazing name pointer is somehow empty. Might be a driver bug. I mean, other driver works. I mean, ironically, all right, so actually, there might actually be 2 bugs. So yeah, share, like, subscribe. We probably go over to Twitch because now I remember, I already forgot. The problem is my brain hates this bug so much and it's so depressive, it's so demotivating that other people just run with their sledgehammer and smash every freaking working code they can find. From yesterday's Twitch stream to now, I already forgot that the video output was black. Even with the Matrox, oh shit. Okay, so as a quick thing, so maybe we bisect this after all. So we will also plug in a Mach64 there in a moment. So what I would do, because now we would need to debug through all of that why this pointer here is here of this string compare. So that is here this display mode pointer. And I believe we have seen that yesterday on Twitch. I guess that's maybe the Matrox MGA driver is using something incorrectly, which the Xorg people constantly change. Yesterday already wondered, so yes, this mode is also strange indeed, in that is basically why is this a 1366 by 1768 mode? I'm somewhat inclined as a first test. Do I still have that maybe here? I did not even build this with debug symbols, I believe. Did I build this with... oh no, I built this. I was already wondering why it has debug symbols. Maybe I switched this just before the live stream. Which was it here in XF86 mode 511? And before I say, why don't you use a fancy IDE? My graphic is not working. I'm logged into this secure shell, right? How should I use a fancy IDE if my freaking graphic driver doesn't work? So here's the string compare scan. I mean, we could also, I mean, they broke this somehow, right? So we need a git checkout anyway. GitLab here, free, that's that one. And so what will be super annoying with bisecting is that they constantly break the API. And I saw already, if I compiled that actually before the live stream, and if I compile the Matrox driver with the previously working version, I get like the MGA driver doesn't even load with unresolved symbol for current timer stuff. So yeah, that's cool. This is not what I... Also Wayland. Use the future, use Wayland, and no... You've seen this here for years. Somehow copy and paste only for this use case works for me every second time. All the stuff that previously was working. So the 500F here. Skip over previous, rejected. So if this is the same string name, I mean, we could either, so if it's the same name, like if, let's quickly hex it and see if it at least starts with something. If not, name or z is equal 0. Not sure if that is a, maybe we should, we certainly should. So what this does is avoiding this. It's like here, string handling in C, difficult even for Xorg driver programmers. The real fix would be probably to figure out why the matrix driver or something in all the overly convoluted Xorg call chain there doesn't set a mode there. Fix no pointer difference to, oh, here's actually something. They fixed something in February. Can you believe? Potentially the pointer to the mode name could be unset. This can occur. Yeah, also. Cool, they just fixed it. Can you believe? They probably just fixed it how did they watch my YouTube videos and Twitch live streams? What was the bloody syntax here of this shit even? What was the bloody... And that's why I'm not using Git. I really hate it. It's the... It's like when people need Stack Overflow and freaking Google it. There was a special notation of previous thing. Needs to be quoted. Shortened commit with its parents. You can use... Yeah. I mean, I was pretty close. That... Oh, it's... Why don't you use Git? It's like... Actually, okay, so they check this like that. Okay. Fair enough. Let's... this is not all, because... So there are two things. That was one. Let's see if... did I install this? This is for sure not all, because the problem for Mach64 was another one, and also even for Matrox. So for the MGA, this bug only occurred if I had a fancy display with Edit plugged in. And when I started the Xorg server without a VGA cable, so that it didn't have edit data, like its extended display info, then Xorg started, but it was black, right? So let's see if what happens now. Oh, it does not even segmentation for it, can you believe? Yeah, but the picture is black. So that is only more. So we probably, and that is, was there one bug? No, there are even two bugs, because now we still have the second bug that freaking picture is black. We can, and so this is the same, and so, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, little padawans, boys and girls. This is why you don't constantly freaking change software, right? It's not an agile competition of who breaks shit the fastest. This is simply not true. The problem is the most VIP open source developers think they are the smartest and the best, and the result is we still don't have the Linux desktop, because everything they freaking touch is every year broken, right? And this Matrox was 20 years ago, was the best 3D supported driver. And yes, it's vintage and whatnot, but hey, you could play Quake 3, and as far as I remember, either that or the ATI. One was used at the US or so Weather Channel when they 20 years ago used Linux in their broadcasting stuff, probably migrating from SGI workstations or whatever. So this Matrox or the ATI, I forgot, maybe the ATI, was it the Weather Channel of all funded ATI 3D development, something of that sort. And the Matrox driver for sure was the best, right? This was the best, highest performance open source, and the only and full and true open, well, not the only, but nearly the only This was the highest performance pure open source driver 20 years ago. And they broke the shit out of it. Like nothing freaking works anymore. And you can, this has a freaking, they have DVI ports. You can run this productively if you use just some 2D IDE and Firefox browser, right? There's nothing wrong with theoretically still using that. It's ridiculous. Welcome everyone. I'd love to know a good Linux dev opinion on modern web, like quick HTTP. Everything is runtime like Deno and Bun. Everything is too complicated. Even, I mean, HTTP 2 was so complex and full of bugs that they haven't done it, right? HTTP 3 way too complex, right? There are security bugs. I think we recently had a huge, like, was it HTTP 3 reset stuff? Everything is too complicated, right? Make everything, and welcome to High Level, Danny, highly appreciated. Make everything freaking much more simple. We obviously, Microsoft, Apple, and all the other commercial Linux distributions prove humans can't do software. And this is why everything gets hacked, even the American information, whatever, yeah, here I have it somewhere. Even the American cyber security whatnot is now hacked. Like here I have it in our Discord of the US cybersecurity agency hacked and forced to take some systems offline. It's like, yeah, that is a state. I mean, you're obviously not running my microkernel, then you get freaking hacked. So, one bug fixed and unfortunately one to go. So yeah, I mean, bug fixed. Which mode does it even come up with? Let's save this patch already before we forget about this, because with so many bugs I lose overview. So the other thing will now be really, really, really annoying, because we need to really bisect, because the freaking picture is still black, right? I would show it to you, but it's black. Pitch pure black, like it's a freaking black hole. So black it is. I don't know, maybe they don't map the frame buffer, maybe they map the wrong address, maybe they don't wire up some shadow frame buffer or whatnot. I have no idea what they do. Fact is, it's black. And the Mach 64 is also black. I've seen this yesterday already. But yeah, as Albert Einstein allegedly maybe said, make everything as simple as possible, not simpler, whatever. And this shit is not simple. Neither the Linux kernel is simple, neither Xorg is simple, nor HTTP 3 and Quick and whatnot is freaking simple. Nothing is freaking simple. That is why I urgently need to write a microkernel. But I'm still fixing 25 years later, just like I started. My career started as at school, converting to Linux and having every day fix non-working stuff. 25 years later, I'm still sitting here fixing other people's bugs and regressions. Hotfix, mode, crash, whatever. What was this precise? This isn't the right patch. Did I diff that somehow wrong? Where did I diff that git? Capital X. Very clever. This time I'm more clever and leave my shoulder. So, too many hotfixes. That is in lookup mode crash, so most hotfixes are crashes, so so why is this shit black? I guess so. Theoretically, I would. It is really hard to debug that right now. I mean, if you were one of the authors of Xorg and they would give only 1 cent for the, like, if they would dog food their own stuff just a little bit. And hey, even I have a PCI flex cable like Linus Tech Tips. You don't need to be Linus Tech Tips. You can go to your favorite e-tailer and order a PCIe extender flex cable for like $6.99 or so. And here, because it's thumbnail, right, I have that here. You can also go to eBay and for $9 auction you a AM2 board with PCIe and AGP and stuff. But I run this here in my Ryzen Viz. So this is a flex cable, PCIe flex cable, PCIe bridge, transparent PCI bridge, and a freaking, like, if you auction this stuff on eBay, you probably get all of that for 20 freaking bucks. Like, you would think a freaking Xorg driver has that in his drawer. I mean, even I have it in my office drawer. It's so if you are one of those authors who breaks the shit constantly, like, by the way, you see, some other modes have a name set, so it's not like whatever there. So which mode did it choose here even? What did it even freaking come up with? Max Pix clock is really 600 megahertz? Are they really sure? This sounds a little bit... Why does this say max pix clock is 600 megahertz and here says maximum pixel clock is 250 megahertz? Clock range of 600 megahertz. This also looks a little bit buggy to me, but what do I know? I'm only fixing their bugs for 25 years. It's probably not like it's maybe different code passes, maybe it's uninitialized or whatnot. C programming difficult, that's probably why we shouldn't do it. So cool mode. Is there really a 320 by 175 mode? Like why is there so much random garbage in there? I mean, the other time it even wanted to program a, what was it, 1300 something by this one here. Was it this one? Where's this freaking mode even come from? This is a freaking mode that I've freaking never heard about. And what? 1500? It's like, what the freaking heck are you even doing in your C code there? Like, seriously, 15,360 by... We don't look in there. It's like there are bugs that are obviously mostly cosmetic that I didn't even... Yeah, whatever. Everything buggy, right? I'm not even... Maybe the edit data of this display is even buggy, but this NEC Multisync PA241W that I have for 15 years and that I usually didn't have much problems with. So, the other stuff we probably BSEC'd, unfortunately. I mean, what we could do is... So to BSEC'd that, let's actually probably... Okay, let's first disable TempFS. Not to lose our precious BSECting. Ah, this is already disabled. I'm a professional. Let's just rebuild this. Let's then use the Git tree. And so the problem is, and welcome everyone. Highlight of Andreas fixing session today, declaring a variable with bool, and now I can't read it because there is a heart and a smiley icon in front of it. So yeah, we don't need to build it fully. Let's go in here. So I wiped this for no good reason. I thought I have it in TempFS, but I didn't. So that was superfluous. So let's move in, because I didn't want to have this X server checkout in TempFS. Let's move this into the T2 build sandbox. Did this, do they use Meson or what do they do? Maybe they use Meson in the meantime. Alright, it's not an error because no vrun configure, despite the thing having Meson apparently, or do they, or did they recently, Yeah, bisecting that when maybe recently they removed configure support. And that's the stuff, why don't you just bisect this? Yeah, in the middle, I mean, not only constantly API compatibilities, because if we bisect it, we always need, because with every bisected state, the ABI version or other incompatibilities could have changed. So for best bisecting reliability and experience, we would for each bisect step not only build the freaking XORG server, but then also rebuild a matching MGA driver, right? Of course, not the biggest problem. You can automate this with 7 lines of shell scripting, but it constantly will also break, right? I had this the last time we bisected it, like 7 freaking commits did also not build, so why is here no, is this not, this should be the, why does this, why does, yes, did I, which year is that even? 2023. Because I don't see here configure instantly. Where are tags, by the way? Do we have here tags? Okay, let's let's check out how do they name their freaking tags. Let's check out something like that. That has a configure. I see. So what also really sucks then is, I mean, yeah, we could build the previous version with Meson, but I probably didn't do this because usually this had bugs, right? I remember I tried this years ago and it was working even less. So what really sucks is that we have to auto-gen this, right? And this also is an error-prone piece of shit. Yes, I understand as much criticism with all the different versions. Did this fully configure? Error on, okay, that was my, so let's hope we are lucky and this configured auto regen, because if not, we are in really big trouble of bisecting that. Let's copy and paste it. So this autogen process is highly error prone for decades, like not only recently, but for 20 years. I always had problems that because we are so up to date, this up to date autogen stuff often breaks as usual, the only constant chain integration. So yeah. And so that's the reason why I plugged this card into the 5950X so that we can hopefully build this relatively snappy. Only the autoconf stuff is really annoying now. That of course adds unnecessary serialized reconfigure time to our bisecting stuff. And I know there were bugs in between, right? So so the problem is, okay, I plug out the VGA cable and you will see, so that is a bug that they just fixed upstream a year later. As you see, this is edit related, right? So fatal module VGA not found. Why is this freaking lib modules? Okay, it came up. Oh wait, what? That is not, you know what? I think we better switch to the Mach. Okay, the problem is now we have 2 bugs. One prevents one crashes the driver with edit data, and the other, like if I plug out the cable, then it starts up, but then I can't see if it's freaking black, right? So I guess we switched to the Mach64 actually. Because the Mach64 didn't crash with edit data. So let's see Mach64. I mean, why do I, like, for what did the XORG Foundation collect hundreds in funding when we are the ones who have a test bed, a test lab, a test setup? Like, you would really expect the XORG Foundation at least test 4 popular cards, or like maybe 8. Just need to remove the glass here. I only had installed this tempered glass. So the airflow is better. So that is offhand. Yeah, it's getting actually freaking... So despite having the tempered glass on there, so that the card at least gets some airflow, the Matrix card is pretty warm. And the passively cooled Matrix card. And that is why also, so that I don't get the airflow in my eye and stuff, and rather the Matrix card gets some. VGA cable. And to not my surprise, so this state of the art, nearly state of the art, yes, last year's 1550X still post. I have BIOS post with the PCIe bridge on this freaking 25. But why is this? It freaking still works, right? Like, still waiting for. Let's just put some airflow. I just don't want to have this airflow the whole time. This Beat Boss Phono keyboard. Booting. I even have frame buffer, right? The crazy thing is I even have frame buffer with the T2 logo. But the XORG drive, the XORG people, I mean even the Linux frame buffer or whatever works better than this. And of course, if you would do this in an open test bench, you could even plug in or plug in out. Maybe even, there probably should be some server boards with hot plug PCI. What is it? What? Whatever, it was right after. So this should also crash. Alright, we need to probably rebuild it. I didn't rebuild this before. So this was black. Yesterday this was black output. Didn't crash, but black output. Let's see what it does today. Why does this still not work? Does it need to have, do we have ATI 2? Does it need to have both for the other two? I mean, even there they removed all the 3D support and right, that's a okay, so somehow it wait, what is Was it yesterday crashing? I thought... Why is this not crashing? Was it not yesterday black? Ah, was this? No, we had some combination working yesterday. Or was it with... Because I remember it was black, so, or was the... Okay, whatever, maybe only the Matrox was black and this one was crashing differently. Okay, let's anyway continue with this. So maybe there are like in total 3 or 4 freaking regressions just for these 2 cards, right? And that is a crazy thing. These are just... This happens if you constantly change everything just to rename it, rename, break APIs for stuff that's deprecated nobody should use because Wayland. I remember we are sort of... Okay, let's see what backtrace we get, because yesterday this didn't work. So that is user X11. So that is in... So yeah, there's something wrong with GDB ATS. So yeah, why did this not work yesterday? I have no idea. So that is pthread. Kill cord signal. Ah, is this in long? Maybe this is indeed not mapping resources. Okay, maybe they changed that by default some... Maybe the tip from some Xorg developer years ago when someone else reported this was basically correct. That they changed not to allocate, map some PCI or stuff resources. So this looks about like it was yesterday. Do I still have... Let's try... Can we... The easiest thing to try... Yeah, I just didn't save because I rebooted. I don't have it in the history. I also don't see the first line. So this was, what was even the version? 120? 120 here, it's this one. Let's just quickly rebuild this. I want to have some non-good state where that even makes sense. Not that some I/O port stuff has other regressions on AMD 64. Imagine being able at an LPC2 either card trying to fix either card problems. Yes, that is a good thing. We should do it just to totally lose insanity. I've seen this LPC2 either card. I wonder if that... Does that LPC2 either, does that support memory read and writes? Or does it only support I/O? Yeah, I've seen this for Sunblast or stuff. I've seen those YouTubers, which is amazing. And that's the thing, right? DOS and Windows people, YouTubers, do crazy, amazing stuff. And the Linux people, they just break their freaking drivers. The one thing we had, they break. Oh, we need to rebuild. That is the difference between doing cool stuff and just breaking stuff. And that is why we can't have nice things, because everything is broken. I need to... I don't actually need to rebuild this. I meant actually ATI. Maybe the other driver, maybe ATI is match loaded first. Maybe they have some hacks in there for bridging ATI to Mach64 or whatnot. So I believe on air doesn't crash. We also don't have... It doesn't crash, but we don't have video output. Hello? Undefined... Ah, here is also ATI. This has undefined freaking symbol. Why does this have... XF server is only detecting? What the fuck? No, it doesn't load because of this shit. You can't make this shit up. Let's see if that... And that will be the nightmare in bisecting, that especially automatically, when with every bisect some other random shit breaks, because they constantly change decade-old stuff that, I mean, yes, wasn't super nice, but makes no sense to change now, because it's basically on long-term not maintenance, because the upstream developers don't even want people to use it. Just rebuild this cleanly once here. Hope that maybe fixes some symbol visibility thing. Maybe it is possible that the new server installed some other header files and then the other drivers compiled with that. Unfortunately, we need to reuse this. I mean, I could probably, like, if it's only the ATI driver, I could change the config to hardcode Mach64. If that does not have other symbols missing, which... No, that doesn't work. Xconfigure. Arc XF86. Yeah, cool, but and that, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly the brackets I'm talking about, right? Like every freaking version, they break half of the drivers. And I even, yes, I'm so crazy. I never had an ARC card. Do you even heard about ARC? I, of course, heard about those. Historically, I didn't have most, because obviously I was poor, and first I had an ISA ET3000 even on my first Pentium, and then I had an S3 Verge, and then a Matrox Millennium 2, and like historically I didn't have most of them, right? But just for building up this YouTube channel, I even auctioned, like, yes, I have an archive with nearly, not nearly all yet, but with most major. I even auctioned myself a freaking ARC card and an SES card. I even know, I never had a 3DFX. I even now have 2 3DFX cards. One was a donation, highly appreciated. Got a Benji donated, which is totally amazing. I even got an Trident, and I don't have an i740 yet. I even got a Glint card, and yeah, it's like I could test more drivers in the freaking Xorg Foundation, and that is hilarious. Okay, this is like, dude, you had one freaking job. It's hilarious. No devices to configure. Thank you very much. NSC, okay, that is also our matching there, also leaves a bit to be desired. Why I have more test infrastructure than the Xorg Foundation is also beyond my understanding. Was it just Mach64, right? I believe that was the driver mode. Does this come up? What is here now? It just bisects this. It's like, yeah, if this old versions would even work. I mean, so it fails to load most drivers somehow? What is even... I mean, okay, maybe the input drivers. I mean, most of those... What is with Mach64? But even that has some undefined symbol, noob DDA. What the freaking heck is even going on there? Why does this... What the heck is that even? You can't make this shit up. It's hilarious. as yesterday on Twitch, let's quickly fix something. How hard can it be? Turns out hard because every combination you build doesn't build, and that is the quintessence of the only constant is change and regressions, and that is the result of changing everything and renaming everything just because they can in the name of cleanups, because now it's cleaner. It's like, yeah, it's so clean, every version doesn't work. Achievement unlocked. Sometimes I really wonder, are they on the Microsoft payroll? Was they really making sure that all this stuff never worked? But probably, yeah. Which even was that? Some noob thing there. Where is it even coming from? Here is some... What the freaking heck even? What the fuck is it even? This is ridiculous. What is it? I mean, it's... The crazy thing is, this builds with the latest not only builds, it works with, I mean, it works until it doesn't. If not defined, void CPIO. Maybe that's simply could also be compiler change of compiler linker change of. This is bizarre. How did this ever work? I don't know. No, there is actually some noob DA stuff. That is actually some... No operation, you don't do anything. Somewhere you need to be able to call a procedure that doesn't do anything. For example, Scream is only static color maps. It's easiest to have a dummy procedure to call than to check if there's a procedure. Okay, maybe we LTO'd that away. Oh man. Ah. Let's try this without LTO and hope the symbol is still there. How does it build if there's no symbol? Well, it's defined in some header, right? And then, and it's linked with, because this only links because the XORG drivers are linked with unresolved symbol things. There is some linker option of whatever it was. Some, I probably have it in. I used this somewhere in some either SGI Octane Impact or PS3 drivers. So there is some, if you build shared objects, you can basically say links this shared object and ignore unresolved whatever. Okay, LTO. Okay, so this version works. Yay. So, but this is the old version. Okay, so that works, and if you don't build it with LTO, it actually freaking works. That's good to know. Then let's... Oh wait, it was just here. Then let's try the next release version. This likely fails, but let's this stuff surprise me. I mean, it is also totally possible that just LTO breaks something else. Also, what is also best helps if we download it. Normally T2 does this automatically just because I manually did build package. It didn't do that, which maybe it should. But it's also, it's not entirely pointless, right? Not only do I want to preserve my vintage machines and sometimes power on my RISC System 6000 and play Quake on an IBM PowerPC. Theoretically, I also want to improve SGO2 stuff, right? Maybe Shellac subscribe, maybe we really open a museum eventually, maybe sooner than later. And so before I spend a whole day debugging stuff on the SGO2, I actually want to establish some baseline of like, other stuff just works, right? It's like nothing, because on the SGO2 somehow the debugger also didn't do the most amazing things. So we need to rebuild. I mean, we can try, but yeah, of course, ABI major version. Would be too nice if your stuff just builds. That would be too easy if they wouldn't change the ABI version every month. So this crashes. So yeah, that was a crash. So yeah, that was a crash that we wanted to debug. Amazing, congratulations. So it still happens without LTO, so that's good to know. So let's finally debug this. Let's finally bisect this. How long are we live? Hey, only 50 minutes. Finally bisecting. Oh shit, no, I have somewhere, I think I lost somewhere. In some of those I stored my X server git, like there. And let's use the latest. Because this doesn't have, because the other build was LTO. I don't need more LTO breakage. This one should have remove LTO, yes. So bisecting that. Did we build this? Failed to create symbolic link SDK limbs? Oh. Why does every build fail in some different cursed way? It's even tests. We don't need tests, right? Okay, was it test or tests? Where is the freaking test here in this PDMake file? Oh, come on. Where is the test? Why don't you use a Visual Studio for that? It's like, yeah, Visual Studio would help me so much. Here's something. Subtiers. Ah, of course it's subtiers. Away. Tests. Don't need tests. Hey, it builds without tests. Yay. Okay, this still fails the same. This is what we expected. So, then let's establish start. So we probably want to script that, and the best thing is if we next, obviously we want to waste less of our time. So we should learn and implement some scripts to automatically bisect that. The problem with that is that it's super error prone. It's maybe a little bit easier to bisect something in the Linux kernel, especially like if it's a compile error, it's easy peasy, right? The problem with that is not only, as you see, every build fails in some different creative and cursed way, we also need to start an XORG server and we need to build an MGA driver, right? So we need to build XORG server, so we have multiple conditions where this can fail, and for us humans, as we don't have yet a totally general artificial intelligence, for us it's obvious, we look there, I mean, even for us it's sometimes not obvious because sometimes it's on the standard out, sometimes it's just in the log file and stuff, and each time it's some other different creative thing. But you would need to script all of those, right? And before you see it the first time, even I couldn't imagine there is some global no operation functor exported for quickly no operation reasons. And so before you see creatively cursed errors, you don't know what crazy stuff to expect, right? So that makes fully automating that much more difficult than it should be. So git tech. So the last that worked was okay, this is Wayland. So that was here some 20, right? So that one. Previous head position was there. Head is no. So we need to auto regen, and also maybe the question is, did they touch the bloody, because maybe we remove the subdir, the test subdir, because this failed already. So that's fine with this new line. With this git dirty, we might get bsect issues, right? Let's see first if we do, because if there are changes in that, then the git bsect will fail of local changes, right? So we need autogen, and that's why I do this on Ryzen and not on Athlon 64. Also, obviously I need more coffee. Shit, what? Wait. Okay, this is not ideal. Then we do autogen with this arc here directly, otherwise we install the install wrong. And next we need to script this, obviously. That is actually glibc, it's this macros. It's like, yeah, the only constant is change and regressions. Yay. Should be sysmac. I hope should be. And the problem with this dirty changes are then. Okay, let's maybe put it somewhere where they probably didn't change something. Let's creatively, where do they have? So usually you would, they use it there already. Let's put it here or so, in the hope that if they edit that here, that we don't get a bsect merge regression. I think it's this macros. Probably it was. Shit, this is bloody SDK sims in tests. I thought maybe from that here. Should need to redo that. I do it now first, that in the hope that we can reuse it for scripting that. Xorg supposedly doesn't have release manager to do integration testing. Yeah, we have 2000 Linux distributions, and yet, I mean, I appreciate it, right? At that rate, share, like, and subscribe. Choose the one and last Linux distribution you will ever need, because there's actually someone who tests this shit and makes sure it actually freaking works, TM. Live on this channel, for which you probably also want to share, like, and subscribe. I really hope, and the sad thing is, why did this reconfigure? What? It still runs. Why does this still runs? What? I would rather write. I even have written like first. Can I reach it here? Barley. I first ever written the Lynx 3D proof of concept driver, right? I would rather do really cool stuff like other with their low pin count, either Sound Blaster things and stuff. But I sit here and fix others people's mundane build errors. Why is it Automech failed with extra? Did this not previously? Why? Or does it not like my training? Does it not like that here? I mean, I obviously would rather write new. I even have on my to-do list for my microkernel the most minimal yet isolated graphic architecture in modern, like not the C code. Did it really not like this freaking? Okay, fine, whatever. So which version is it? That should be the working version, right? And that's the thing, right? I would have more fun, and even because the Xorg people removed most of the especially old-fashioned non-transparent acceleration, I would rather write a truly minimal, readable, as I've previously done, S3 Trio, which other we have done, Verge 3D, right? Textured Verge triangles 4 years ago, even 3DFX Voodoo because I never had it and wanted to see programming and stuff. We could even do, as the SGIO2 has a similar graphic backend similar to 3DFX Voodoo Verge, where we first ever outside of SGI could get textured triangles out of it, right? Like basically everything would be more interesting, maybe even YouTube version and whatnot, than this. I need a dictionary of English swear words. This low quality engineering regression stuff here, this monumental failure. So this will probably not start. Oh, this does start. Which version are we even now? I thought this should. Did we? We didn't install it. We probably can install this in one go, I guess. We can start this. This will, of course, fail with ABI version. Yes, of course. Yes. So let's extract the driver here. Download. We need mirror. So for each bloody bisect step, we also need to rebuild the Macht driver. Multiple of 697, 697. I believe that probably should be the same configure, right? Please change the driver line from ATI to, or install ATI wrapper as well. Interesting message. Okay, that comes up. Yeah, comes up. And so the next, automating this is not the most easy, right? Because next we will also need to see, most moved to Wayland after they left Xorg in a completely broken state. And those people should have just moved to Wayland and left Xorg working and not like, as a last thing, let's break it. And then let's, like, if you abandon your house, you don't burn it down first, or I don't know. It's like, besides, they were basically the custodians of maintaining what previously was the X386, or like they the Xorg people took it over, like, and even they had their fights and personal drama and stuff. Remember that this was X386 before it became Xorg? It's like similar to Apache and Mozilla Foundation, like all failing stuff, like the big open source stuff. Like even they can't be nice to each other and have working stuff. Like everyone knows it better. Nobody gets shit done, and at the end of the day, everything is broken, forked, and broken. It's like yeah. Oh, this is the wrong directory. Git bsect. So this is good. Can it need storage? Do you want to do it for you? Yes. Checkout. Where is my checkout here? Shit. Nah. I hope I don't make a mistake in saying, I think we had that right. Why do I not have this in the history? It should be that one, right? Do we have like fours? So that is git bsect bit. Head is now at xserver 21.1. A merge must be tested. Xserver 120. Count. Yeah. So we need to automate that. So again that. Yeah. I mean, maybe there is some special git bsect automate return. There is some 150.25. Mark the current commit as untestable. It's basically, I guess we do all exit 125, and we could make a skip function, but whatever. So we need that. Then probably out again. Let's hope in some minutes we can automate that and welcome everyone. Because I don't want. I mean, the problem is that this automation really works, right? Nothing like automating this and then you epic thread rip through stuff and it doesn't work. And if stuff constantly fails with creative errors. Like this. What the fuck? Other things build. We also don't need Xwayland actually. Can we disable that? Welcome everyone. You mean I should copy and paste this out of the history? I could... I mean, I want to run this through git bisect, right? Why does... I thought I run this... autogen also, right. Did I? Maybe I copy and pasted this wrong. I next want to feed this into git bisect, right? If that is what you meant. But here, did I say each build will fail in some creative way? You build one version, builds mostly, build another version, builds mostly, you build something in the middle, Xvalent fails. It's like... Good, so... Then Z and Z. Maybe we could, I mean, yeah, this shouldn't fail, right? So like basically everything or die. Then we need to cd xf make clean did this maybe work? I mean, do we need to reconfigure? I mean, we will see if that works now. Okay, so this currently works. 120. Yeah, this currently works. The question is, if that fails, I mean, this should not fail, right? I only do that here to preserve the directory. I mean, theoretically we can change the directory because GitHub runs that, so this will be a subshell. So I mean, clean doesn't matter, but this is, I guess, the same. And then we need, I mean, maybe we can even, I mean, okay, we can automate everything. We would need, okay, no, we actually can't really automate it fully because we would actually need a second computer with a video capture card to determine whether the video output is not black. Ah, darn it. Okay, so that is good. No, I don't know. Roughly 9 steps. Please commit your changes and or stash them. Switch. No, I don't know. Git. I hate this. How to get now the aborted BTP sector. I hate this Git usability. It's absolute. Why don't you use more Git? It's like I personally, in my opinion, Git is an absolute usability disaster. What do we need now next? I mean, normally it's automatic, just like now the probably next. I don't know. Okay, this probably was the right thing. can we... Does this work like that? So we need to auto-regen. We can never be sure that they didn't change anything in between. So unfortunately, we need to all reconfigure. There can always be major changes. And obviously, we don't want to stuff randomly break. This somehow doesn't look fast. Why is... It's not exported. Okay, we can also just copy and paste this. Or we... Oops. We best just set this here. Yeah, no, we reconfigure, but whatever. Yeah. And the thing is, if those people at Reddit and SUSE work on this like full-time daily, like they have the infrastructure, right? Like I bisect this shit like every quarter or once a year, whatnot. And it's like each time something else, right? Of course, it's a difference if you have, like you would set this up once and then use it all year long, right? Like each time people break their stuff. This installed, so let's see. Okay, this is already bad. It's most likely changing. I'm expecting something like allocating, like mapping some PCI bars by default or whatnot, or doing some other. Because what I think failed, so it looked like some I/O, x86 I/O thing to fail, or was it? Maybe this is simply. Maybe that's not exported. Was it segmentation fault, or was it? Because it was some IOPL, IOPV also, this programmed IO stuff of x86 goodness. Okay, this also failed somehow. So now Xorg installed, or did it? Did I say each freaking build will fail in creative ways? Like, let's automate the shit out of it. It's like, yeah, cool, now this fails. How can they break so much? And that is, I'm not making this shit up, right? If I wouldn't make these YouTube videos, people wouldn't believe me. This is how much you can break Xorg infrastructure between stuff. You got to be kidding me. I mean, maybe they have, let's see if we reconfigure that. If they have configure detection for different Xorg ABIs. But otherwise, Did it not just previously? No, they don't. This is crazy. Here's actually ABI version. Maybe they incorrectly. You know what? Probably that is. Did I say shit will break randomly? Maybe they, and that's like bisecting a pane. Like they change so much stuff randomly just because they want. That then, because they don't bump, like basically they probably changed some stuff and then only days or weeks later, like, hey, we broke some shit, let's also bump the ABI version, right? So, so this is probably, so if Boolean as a value, here, I don't know, is it 24 then? Either that or... which version is it now even? Ah, that. So yeah, now... yeah, this is why we can't automate it. Thank you very much. I mean, obviously nobody had an intention to bisect this breaking pile of garbage code base. Okay, that works. Yes, has output. Most likely we need to change this Boolean thing there back. Should we do this now already? Now OBS even crashed for some reason. What was segmentation faulting? What do you mean? Except my... So this was already the next... Hopefully, did we? Maybe I should quickly... This was at the next, did I? What did I do? I patched that, yeah, error prone, right? I nearly run this wrong without applying the patches. Let's see, this is some, we arrive at some useful bisect state and we can somehow easily, okay, that already is not good. The problem is, if it would be fully automated, I could do now other things. But because it isn't, okay, that works. The last one didn't. Yeah, that works. Of course, we could apply the patches here automatically. I mean, this is also just because Git is stupid. Yeah, OBS doesn't seem, it's not, I mean, yeah, OBS should not crash. I mean, there were drop frames. It's like maybe YouTube. I mean, of course, OBS shouldn't crash. I mean, I live stream from another machine, right? I'm not live streaming from a Mach 64. I'm live streaming from the Steam Deck, of course, running T2 working T2 Linux. This also works. Ah. Yeah, with a better build system it would be faster, but it is what it is. Also with good release engineering, we wouldn't need to bisect their shit. Okay, that's bad. Getting somewhere. Maybe tiny. I mean, the configure autogen stuff, auto reconf stuff here wastes basically most of the time, which is unfortunate. Only fast I could have done it on the 1750X, wouldn't save the most, but yeah, I don't like to touch my most expensive build system just for that. That's what we have last gen 1550X for. That works. Let's hope MGA's Matrox is the same, but I don't want to bisect that yet another time. It's enough bisecting for this year. And then we write a microkernel. So that was good, right? Assert, search, insert. We are there in a moment. Yeah, attention to detail, dedication. Some people, and that's the thing, right? This are when people say, but this old silicon is orders of like multiple orders of magnitudes easier to work with than latest and greatest. Like this is the stuff that I can write drivers for as a hobby on a weekend, and they just delete it. And this is the easy silicon, right? Not like the headers. The header definition for AMD GPU are probably larger, like millions lines of code in the meantime. Linux kernel header definition auto-generated. Yeah, also strange stuff. Basically, the AMD GPU headers are larger than all of those vintage drivers combined, right? It also works. Does it have video output? Yes, it has. Amazing. That was good. Bisecting, add support for systemd notification. Whatever. Coffee. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe, maybe YouTube membership, Patreon, GitHub sponsor, and also subscribe to Twitch to support all the crazy efforts we do here just to bring the best Linux distribution, the one and last best Linux distribution you will ever need. So that probably works, right? Yes, video output. Just want to check that we have video output. Yes, soon we will reverse engineer my Epiphone DVI to USB capture dongle, and we can capture that. Because that's my only analog capture thing I have. hardware fix IO perm calls in fix IO perm calls in hardware enable IO. Except fix it to break it. I mean, it's kind of what I expected. It's like, yeah, congratulations, you fixed it amazingly. You fixed it so well it doesn't work anymore. No further questions to previous video. Big mega corporation Linux distributions simply don't want Linux to succeed. They obviously only want corporate profits to fly private jet and golf with Larry and Tim and stuff, with Tim Apple and whatnot, and go out dinner and fundraising with Bill Gates, but they don't want like IBM and Google and stuff. They don't. I mean, it's like Google wants to sell you Android advertisements. They don't want the Linux desktop to succeed. Otherwise, all the stuff that was working would be working, but it isn't. I mean, and that's why yesterday on Twitch we tried to read this, right? Like thousands of changes, hundreds thousands of changes in thousands of commits. If you guru meditate this and like guru meditate scrolling over the Git log, like fix IO perm calls, like I expected remove old-fashioned auto. It's like that's what I expected, right? I didn't expect fix it to break it, but Xorg Foundation fix Xorg so amazing it's broken. It's no further questions. No further questions. Okay, that is alpha. IO perm. So what do they do here? Previously they did IO perm, so previously they enabled all of that, and now they... Like, how does this even break that? What do they do? They removed here, they did IO perm ZIO or IOPL3. So they basically, did they remove the IOPL3? What do they even do here? Short I, size NN, begin end. Let me just take a phone call. There, begin end stuff. Is it only for... So they remove IO perm IOPL3 level. Changes the privilege level of the calling process. Requires access to IO calls. Okay, so they fix, so probably, let's see, so, I mean, fix is a bit fun, like fix IO perm call, and, I mean, fix is really, I mean, this, who even authored this? Some Brian? I mean, this log really leaves a lot to be desired. So this begin end, like in my C style, I would have that here because they don't use it here, right? They use it for alpha only. Oh wait, no, it's not alpha. Wait, what? Oh no, this is actually not alpha. I read this wrong. This is actually not trapping anything because of IOPL3. Trap access to the keyboard controller and timer chips. While get line, keyboard, timer, IO perm. I mean, the intention is, I mean, the intention of trapping access to the keyboard controller is a novel one, but okay, so here they remove IOPL3. So this basically breaks all things that do not that explicitly enable some port access. But this also breaks on Spark, right? I'm pretty sure Spark, I noticed that even a year ago was that Mach64 didn't work on Spark anymore, right? Yeah, I get the intention, just that obviously breaks here. What we saw, yeah, let's, is the, can Git reverse that? Okay, fine, I don't give a shit, bloody Git shit. Let's see if, but yeah, the only constant is change and regressions. Like, this is only for old DDXs for driver dependent X stuff of not kernel mode setting and stuff. So this is only for old stuff. And in 2022 or so, in 2019, you break it. So this is 4 years broken for for many cards. Recurring theme. If it ain't broken for whatnot reason, don't touch it. And yes, the future is well and whatnot, but as the last thing in 2019, let's break a bunch of old cards just because we can. And what's not tested recurrently, what's not tested is broken, right? Like, obviously it was tested with something, like maybe a recent Novo card or whatnot, but I mean, it's not one system, right? It broke on 32-bit, it breaks the same on 64-bit, and for two different cards, like for literally the first two cards, and popular, not like some Permedia 2 and teasing, like literally the first most popular vintage cards broken. If it would just be Sun TG6, which they also broke, but yeah. Let's see what we can do with it. So that was that one, right? We need to interdiff that. I always need to look this stuff up here. I mean, maybe there's a Git thing. Like, basically, this interdiff is like, can you reverse patches in Git somehow? Leave me the comments below. Because we need this reverse to reverse it. Hotfix IOPL, IOPerm, IOPL, IO, what do we have there? IOPerm. Oops, shit. Let's see if that Git reverse now things does it. Okay, this does not cleanly apply due to other changes. Cool. So somehow they touched this after that again. I mean, maybe the... Was it probably that one? I can actually... So you're saying Git... whatever. And even if you found what breaks it, it doesn't just null terminate strings in hardware enable the Linux version. They even just fixed that. Oh, not just, it isn't. That even was buggy. It's every, you know what? Everything like, and this is the state of software quality, right? That commit break. We had one mode compare, like null pointer dereference, and not like how can this is so broken that even NVIDIA, like Dew, what you just changed, also had another bug. It does this by reading 4 bytes. However, it doesn't add a 5th byte. Null terminate sounds like Dew. It's software development. It's so many clever people, and the commit break shit, the commit the null terminate, it's like C difficult. It's like and that's why nothing freaking works, and even the cybersecurity agency is freaking hacked, right? I rest my case. I really do. It's like, this is how broken everything is live here on this channel, and I find it absolutely ridiculous. I mean, that we still develop in C, but like how X is developed for 30 years, since 1986 or 9 or whenever the first 386 Xorg server stuff was done. For 30 years they run the Xorg server, and it's more broken than ever. It's absolutely, it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowingly bad. So this is 5, and that is can be okay, fair enough. But here, C development, too difficult for most people. C and Java development don't let. It's like many cooks ruin the meal. Let's see if, so that is 5, let's see if it's only this global IOPL3 there. Oh wait, this doesn't, oh darn it. Okay, fine, this is, I thought it's separated, but it isn't. So it is 5, that's why this shit is not applying anymore, because they actually fixed another bug in there, so that is target 0 in, let's manually YOLO that in there, of alpha, so that is target 0 of, so that is 2 more lines. It was there, right? It was trade, trap access. Let's make that 2 lines longer. Let's hope that works. Doesn't hotfix prefix to and patch minutes auto removed. Yes, indeed, that is good. I mean, theoretically, yeah, it does, but it could be like if they would fix something upstream, it could be auto removed, right? So it's technically not the worst thing to do, but so yeah, we would need to debug. Like ideally, I agree that like just IOPL3 is. I mean, it was a little bit double, right? Of raising the IOPL level to 3. 8514 it's also super crazy. That's like 8514, one first IBM accelerator there. Yep, works. Maybe they do something wrong there. Maybe the rest of the code is buggy too. Or it's another port. Which port even was it? We could... you know what, we could commit this already to version Z. Revert Z to unrack at least media ATM AGA, maybe more. I didn't test all the others. I mean, S3 Verge works for crazy reasons. Was it mode? Oops. Shit. Hotfix Xorg server to not crash with mode pointed your reference in mode lookup. It's like I'm not making this shit up, right? This is the state. Like not one bug. And other NVIDIA people touch it and it still doesn't quite work. So next, so it's basically it for this video. We reverted stuff. So I now plug in. And we can continue a little bit more on Twitch because ideally we would want to debug like 1.5 hours or nearly 2 hours later. Like, hey, we fixed some shit. We bisected some stuff. Amazing. Also, why did I bisect this? We could have debugged the heck out of it and still didn't quite like it. You could spend hours debugging this stuff until you find out what IO permissions are missing. So we can go over to Twitch and actually further debug, analyze what more minimal IO permissions are needed so that it works with IOPL3. Maybe either it's other additional ports or which we would need to debug which, or the selective port enablement stuff there doesn't work. So that is the state of Xorg. I hope you enjoyed to learn something, especially how much intention and dedication one of the best Linux distributions put in there to actually have all this stuff working. Don't forget to subscribe, maybe show some appreciation of Token there on Patreon, GitHub sponsorship, YouTube membership, or just share, like, and subscribe. Have a good day and maybe go fix some bugs and see you soon for all the next fun stuff, like on Twitch to come.